Welcome to Impact Duty. I'm your host, Manisha Dadlani Kripalani, bringing you empowering stories of friends and people I admire. Their voices have given me joy and the momentum to share their stories with you.
Vishal Gandhi is a leading corporate lawyer based in Mumbai. He has developed a keen interest in spirituality due to the influence and teachings of his parents, Sri Veena and Nalin Gandhi, and the blessings of his elders and gurus. He has recently authored a book, Is God Almighty? His greatest love is his family.
Vishal Gandhi, welcome to Impact Duty. I've just finished reading your book, and all I can say is there's a whole load of wisdom I'm looking forward to sharing today with whoever's out there ready to listen to us. But before we get started on our interview, I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about yourself in your own words.
Sure. Thank you so much, Manisha, firstly, for your time. It's very nice of you to have the book and, invest so much of your energy to understand where I'm coming from. Thank you so much. A brief introduction about me is I'm a very ordinary guy who happens to be a lawyer by profession and who had these experiences. And I thought it might be a good idea to share it with everyone. That's all.
Wonderful, Vishal. And like I said, I just finished reading your book while I was on holiday. And it's a beautiful piece. There is a lot of wisdom from your book. Why do you believe this is a book we all need to read? Why do you believe it's a book we all need to read?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Because I think even if it helps one person, it's great. But personally, I went through a lot of questions. And God has been very kind to me. Whatever I really wanted, I got maybe 10x of it. But when I saw my loved ones, suffer, and loved ones could be even your pet, it could be your pet animal, or you see a stray dog on the street, and then you start questioning that, okay, why are others suffering? Whether it's your pet, whether it's a close friend, it's a relative. And then that questioning started, and I couldn't find the answers for a long time. And there was a point where you sort of reach, hopelessness, and you're very, a sort of disillusioned with life, and you feel, what's the purpose? What's the meaning? But once I got these experiences, I found the answers to these questions, and it's let me become very comfortable and very, confident in the way in which I deal with any problems, because problems still continue. Not that after my experiences, the problems stopped or ceased. But now, instead of, completely being disrupted, that why did this happen to me? Why did God do this to me? Did I do something wrong? Is it karma? Is it destiny? Is it last? But all these questions, anything goes wrong, and we all start questioning, at least I do. And we try to find answers in God, we try to find answers in karma, in destiny. But now I have the answers. At least I have the answers. That lets me be more productive in my life, focus and channelize my energies, and have unwavering faith in God. So that's the reason I wrote this book. Maybe it'll help few people.
And Vishal, your book is full of anecdotes. But were there moments of revelation for you, or were there pivotal moments that help you shape this particular book and the messages that are coming out of it?
Yes, I mean, firstly, the pivotal moments were all the dreams that I had. And these dreams were all sort of, like a treasure hunt. I got a dream, I didn't know what it meant. Thankfully, in the days of internet, you get a lot of information which you can verify and check if it's, factual or not. So I got some of those answers in terms of what those dreams meant from the internet and from talking to friends and also reading other books. So those were the pivotal moments. I got my first dream in 2014. So it's been a long time since I've started having these experiences. And then last 3 years, I've been writing the book, and how we all have kind of busy lives, and we start writing and then it's not a priority and it goes into the back burner, and then something else takes up your energy. But then finally, thank God, it all fell into place, and I got a great publisher, and they encouraged me a lot, and it finally is now, it's become real. So the
Mm-hmm.
pivotal moments, Manisha, would be the dreams that I got and
Mm-hmm.
the journey itself and the answers I found.
Wonderful. But Vishal, we all have dreams. What made you realize that this was of essence?
Yeah, that's a great question again, because Manisha, the dreams were so mysterious, right? They were mystical, as we call it in this
Mm,
context. I mean, I don't want to say too much because then the readers will not enjoy the book. I don't want to be a spoiler for that. But,
mm-hmm.
you get dreams which you understand, and you know the people in the dream, or you know the events in the dream, or you know the location in the dream. Now, these dreams were completely unknown to me. For example, the first dream I got was just a Sanskrit word. And I'm from Mumbai,
Mm,
like most of us are, and we don't really know Sanskrit. We don't learn Sanskrit anymore except few schools. So I'm like, I didn't even know it was a Sanskrit word. So I got these two words,
really?
a dream. That was the first dream, just two words. I didn't know what those words meant, and I typed on the internet. Then I got some clue as to what it means, and then I got other dreams which made me understand what the first dream meant. So that is
Mm,
dreams were so interesting because I didn't know what those words, events, locations meant, or
mm-hmm.
even the images
Mm-hmm.
that I saw. These were unknown images, but surprisingly, at one point, it's a journey of discovering those dreams. They were the exact same locations which I saw, which exist today, which I didn't know before those dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And
Wow.
these are not popular destinations, right? There's certain popular destinations that everybody will know, right? Whether it's spiritual or non-spiritual. There's certain
Right.
locations, certain look. There's certain places of worship everybody would know. But this is a completely unknown location which I saw of, I don't want to say more again, which I never knew existed. Until
Mm-hmm.
date, I can
Mm-hmm.
tell you it's not as famous as many of the famous spiritual destinations.
Right. Right, Rishal. And what I am going to disclose, though, is the title of your book. So it's not God is Almighty. It is God Almighty? Question mark. Okay, so tell us more about the title of the book. Why do you believe this was the title that you needed to have for your book? And tell us more of why you chose it.
Right, right. Because, my journey began from seeing disappointments
Mm,
of my loved ones. Um, I already disclaimed up front that God has been very kind to me, and I've got, with His grace, everything and more. But when I saw my
mm-hmm,
loved ones suffer, I couldn't understand why God would create a world where there is suffering, why anybody
mm-hmm,
should. I mean, take our own example. Uh, your mother or your father will never want
mm-hmm.
you to suffer, right? They will want the perfect
Right.
life for their child. Same is with me. I would want the perfect life for my daughter. Now,
Mm-hmm,
God is our father or mother. It's gender neutral, whatever. It's everybody's own spiritual journey. So again, one more disclaimer. I'm
mm-hmm,
not trying to say that what I've written in the book is sacrosanct and that's the ultimate answer. Everybody has to discover what their God is, what their discoveries. So I started questioning God, that why is there so much pain and suffering? If you
mm-hmm,
created and you're supposed to be perfect and you're supposed to be almighty, then why is
mm-hmm,
there pain and suffering? And there's daily pain and suffering in everybody's life, whether you're rich, whether you're poor, you're in the middle, whether you in any situation. I haven't met anybody who's truly happy, that I could
mm-hmm,
say they're truly happy. People may smile and they may, look happy from the outside, but I was not completely convinced that I've met somebody who's truly happy,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
barring maybe a few saints that I came across. But that is
mm-hmm.
again a very extreme, life. I want to
Right.
know that why can't I, as an ordinary man with an ordinary life, be happy? Why do I
Mm-hmm,
become a saint to be happy, or why do I have to give up stuff to be happy? So that's when I questioned my assumption that I have been created by God. That's my
mm-hmm,
assumption. And my assumption that God is almighty since the beginning of my childhood. And my father had a very influential role in my upbringing, because
mm-hmm,
he taught me mantras, and
mm-hmm.
mantras, sacred hymns in Sanskrit, which I didn't even know what I was saying at that point. But since I was maybe 6, 7 years old, he started teaching me those mantras. And every time he would drop me to school, you know how you tell your kids, wish uncle good evening or good morning or auntie, and table manners or whatever. He would tell me every time he would drop me to school that, okay, chala, beta mantra bolo, which means start reciting your mantras.
Mm.
He imbibed that discipline in me to recite those mantras daily when we would reach a certain point on the way to school. And that used to make me feel at peace with myself. I didn't understand why, or even what they meant, but it just felt very safe for myself and my family. Okay, anything, say a mantra, and everything will be fine. God. So I was brought up to believe that yes, there's a creator, which is God, and that God is almighty. But as I grew up
Hmm.
and saw other people suffering,
Right.
I couldn't understand why God would create a world which has so much pain. And at times I tell my friends our problems are kind of a luxury problem, right? Because we'll say, oh,
Hmm.
I didn't get my flight ticket. I wanted to reach X destination on certain day, or
Hmm.
this is a luxury problem. But what about the people who have real problems, right? They don't have
Right.
money to eat. They have diseases they can't come out of. They have done nothing wrong, but been uh, cheated by others and lost their money. There are people who have lost their mental stability because of for no wrong that they did, because some people are very emotional, right? And they're very giving.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
sometimes they don't realize that somebody else is just sort of exploiting them for their own benefit. So why are all these things there? Who created them?
Hmm. Hmm.
Even anger,
Yeah.
for example, we all know that anger is bad. And in the book
Hmm.
section that I realized later on in life, my mother and my father always told me that gussa vinash ka karan hota hai, which means anger is a cause of destruction. Now,
Right.
listen from one ear, you take it out from another, but you realize as you grow older that your anger is not just harming you, it's harming your loved ones more.
Hmm.
So when
Hmm.
you get angry, maybe your mother or father, your child or your wife is panicking much more than you are, because you get angry and you forget about it, but they are traumatized. So the question is,
Hmm.
who created all these emotions of greed, anger, being selfish, or manipulating others? So the questioning started, and therefore the question is God Almighty.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Totally. And taking on from suffering. Suffering is part of all our lives, but so is grief. Okay, and grief is a concept we all have to deal with in our own ways. We all have different things that impact us, and there's different things that we have to grieve about. I mean, just to share I believe my biggest moment has been the loss of my father a couple of years ago as well. It was probably the hardest thing I've had to deal with.
Yes.
What is your individual experience with grief? And what would you like to share about grief with us?
I think grief, when it strikes you the first time, you're in complete shock because you come out of your world of protection and security which your
Mm,
parents give you, because they're the first ones who give you that security. And then
right.
grief strikes you and you're completely shocked. And then you think that, okay, now I'll be able to deal with grief better. Or if I'm older, I'll be able to deal with grief better. But I think every time it strikes you with the same intensity, because you're questioning something which is not right.
Mm,
You assuming that you don't want to do anything wrong to anyone intentionally. Unintentionally, you may hurt somebody. But when somebody uh, hurts you, especially a loved
mm,
one, or you see some loved one suffer, that's when I feel the grief the most. That, oh, I can't
mm,
see X suffer or Y suffer, and why they're suffering when they've done no wrong. So even in terms of karma, it's fine about this birth, right? That I know what I've done. If I overeat, I might get sick. Or if I undereat, I might get sick. But if I'm eating in balance and I'm still sick, then
mhm,
what did I do wrong? So karma for me, this both I can understand. If I've done something wrong, I'll suffer the consequences of it. But if somebody tells me you're suffering this birth because of something you've done last birth. Now, who's seen last birth? At least I haven't seen it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So those are things that really cause me grief. That why is there suffering? Why can't the world? I mean, it may sound very altruistic or utopian, but why can't everybody be happy? Why can't everybody be
Mm-hmm.
happy? Right? Let's create a world where everybody's happy, nobody's suffering. So
Right.
that suffering inside or outside is what gives me grief. People, I mean, wars today. I mean, there are people at war, innocent children are dying. And it's not the first time, it's happened in the past also. I'm not just referring to today's war.
Right.
What wrong has an innocent child done if somebody's bombing his house? So
Exactly.
that's grief again, right? I mean, somebody dies young because of a heart attack, because of emotional stress or trauma. There's so many
Mm-hmm.
scams you hear of, right? Financial
Mm-hmm.
scams. Somebody defrauds the banks, depositors lose money, he can't get his child married, gets a heart attack and he dies. So that grief is grief to me, these kind of things.
Mm-hmm. For sure. For sure. And I'm going to read a passage from your book, one that struck me. The scars that mark our journey serve as symbols of resilience, reminders of the battles we have fought and the growth we have attained. This is page 38 of your book. Why do you believe we need to constantly battle in life? Why are we constantly battling in life, and with all the experiences that we have to go through? Tell us a little bit more, Vishal.
Yeah, that answer is in the book as to why do we have to struggle at every stage? Why are we truly not happy?
Mm,
Many may not even admit it that we're not truly happy, but I have no qualms admitting I'm not truly happy, in spite of having everything and more that I ever desired. And I've already
hmm
experienced. So, why we still have to struggle, in my view, in my experience, in my journey, the answer is in the book. And which is why once I got that answer, I'm happy in a way. In the
hmm
sense, more than saying I'm happy, I'm not I don't get disrupted as much as I used to, or rather
hmm
almost nil. So anything goes wrong, typically, oh, why did this happen? My day is so bad, my luck is so bad. I mean, I must have screwed up. They must have nothing. It went bad. I know the answer why it went wrong, whatever happened. And I
hmm
focus with with a lot of faith and I mean, mysteriously, sometimes those dissipate without an effort. Something goes wrong. It's almost like somebody is waiting for you to go the other side
hmm
and
hmm
delve into why it went wrong. But if you probably don't and say, I know why it happened, it's all going to be fine. It just does.
mm
It's my
mm
experience.
mm.
So, yeah.
Great. And you mentioned mantras before. You mentioned a magic two-word mantra as well. I'm not sure if you want to share it, but I'll leave that to you. But do mantras pertain only to some, or is it something, are mantras global and of significance to all, regardless of where we are in the world, regardless of creed, regardless of nationality?
That's a very deep and interesting question. And the beauty of the first, rather the only mantra that came in my dream, which I didn't know was a mantra, is actually the sound of your breath. So, breath is universal, right?
Right.
First are inhaling, exhaling till we probably don't exist anymore in this world, probably till when
Mm-hmm.
we pass away. So, that mantra actually is the sound of your breath. And once you read the book, you'll know how that has answered one of my most fundamental questions. And why is the sound of your breath so important to what I've written in the book?
Mm-hmm. 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 Wow, it's chock full of mysteries.
Yes, yes.
I really actually hope this allows many to pick that book up. Is it just to take us a little off course? Is it already available everywhere in India?
Yes, it's available online. It's available on most of the platforms that one would know of, Amazon, Flipkart. My publisher, Story Mirror, even on their platform, it's available. Yeah.
Hmm.
So you can
Excellent.
order it online. It's available in the US as well and many other parts of the world. Yeah, it's also
Mm.
available on Kindle.
Yes, that's great. And there were many messages that resonated with me. Like I said, there are certain things which I don't want to reveal, but that follow the same path or the same ideas that I had, because there were shared experiences, some things that really resonated and called out to me. What would
Interesting.
you believe? What would you believe is the main message that you would like to convey from this book? Do you believe that you were given this awareness to convey it for a certain reason? So, yeah, tell us what
Yeah.
your message would be.
Yeah. So I don't know why I was given this awareness. I have no idea. And I'm just, like I said, an ordinary guy with ordinary intelligence. Probably when I go down on the road, I might even have a fight on the road with someone, road traffic. So I don't know why I got these messages, but the message I want to convey is never to lose faith. And there's some work which all of us need to do, which I
Mm,
don't know what that is. We need to play a role, all of us humans, maybe, that what we need to do, I don't know. And I have asked those questions. So my book also, it starts with questions, it has answers, and then it ends with further questions. So, but it's, so yeah, but probably the message is that how can you live life confidently without any doubt in your mind as to why anything that goes wrong in your life has gone wrong, and
mhm,
have that faith. And then eventually it leaves the reader with two more questions. But having answered the most fundamental questions so that you can live your life very peacefully. And by peaceful, I don't mean that, you're just meditating all the time. You just do your work, what you need to do, the need of the hour,
mhm,
you do it without a doubt, without distraction, without questioning yourself or anyone else.
mhm. And a sub question from there is related to this is purpose. Um, do we all have individual purposes? And how do we tune ourselves um, to be able to gain or to be able to access or to be able to read our purpose in life?
Right. So I don't know the answer to that. I honestly don't, Manisha. I don't know whether we all have a purpose. The immediate purpose we all know, to look after our families, to do no harm to anybody else intentionally, uh,
Hmm.
to look after ourselves. But the larger purpose, I don't know. But I have asked those two questions, like what is it that we can do as
Hmm.
humans to ease the pain or suffering? Can we do
Mm,
something? Whether it is just by thinking right, or whether
mhm,
it's by doing something else. But a lot of books I read on thought power, and they say thoughts are things. They have the force. They have actual force. It's like the minute you think of something, is like throwing an object in the air, which has force. That thought. So many a times we think, but we doubt. There's always a doubt in that thought. So
mhm,
one of the things that I have um, learned from these experiences, not to doubt my positive thoughts. So when you
mm,
say, okay, I'm going to have a good day, don't doubt it. Just believe it is, you're going to have a good day. So that is some sort of an awareness I learned or I received based on these dreams. So maybe that is something we should start with. Let's all
mm,
start thinking positive. Let's all start thinking that uh, anything positive we want to materialize will actually materialize without doubting it. Whether you want, additional wealth, for lack of any other example, or you want uh, uh, more harmony in your family, or whether you want better health, just mm, give it a positive thought. Don't doubt it, and
mhm,
miracles may happen. And maybe that was one of the learnings for us. And I think there's a lot more because I think there's a lot of work we need to do. Hopefully, I'll
Hmm.
get to learn more as I continue on my journey and share with you again at the right time.
Wonderful. I'm definitely looking forward to the sequel of the book, which I know is probably an eventuality. I mean, because there are so many questions still to be answered. But before I say goodbye to you, Vishal, my last question for you: what would you like to see materialize or manifest in the near future for yourself or otherwise?
Well, I would love to get answers to the two impending questions because that will really unlock the entire chain of questions that I have. I would love to get those two answers.
Hmm. Hmm. I'm looking forward to you getting those answers as well, Vishal. Thank you for joining me on Impact Duty. It's been such a pleasure speaking with you today.
Thank you, Manisha. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Take care.
Okay. Bye bye. Thank you.